There is a silent battle being fought every single night, in millions of homes, all across the world. A battle with no gunshots, with no visible enemy. Your enemy, sometimes, is the silence itself. Do you know the silence I speak of? It's the heavy, suffocating silence of 2 a.m. The moment you are jolted from your sleep, not by a noise from the outside, but by a riot from within. You lie there, your eyes wide open in the darkness, and you hear it, the only sound in the room, the only sound in your entire universe at that moment. The sound of your heart pounding. Racing, fluttering, like a frantic, caged bird trying to break free from your chest. In that instant, your bedroom, once a sanctuary of peace, becomes a chamber of judgment. Every second stretches into an eternity. And the chilling questions, the ghosts of your anxiety, begin to circle your mind. What is happening to me? Is this one of the? Could this be the warning sign of a stroke creeping in silently? The greatest fear isn't just the physical pain you imagine is coming. It's the fear of being utterly alone. The fear that you won't be able to call for help. The fear of becoming a burden to your children, to your partner sleeping peacefully beside you. The fear that tonight, this very night, might be the last. And in that panic, what do? You do the one thing we've all been taught is good for us. You reach for the glass of water on your nightstand, take a large gulp, and pray it will calm everything down. But today, I must tell you the truth. A truth that may be uncomfortable, but one that is critical for your senior heart health. That glass of water, the friend you have trusted for so long, is a mistaken ally in this fight. It contains none of the magnesium needed to soothe a rebelling heartbeat. None of the potassium is needed to regulate your blood pressure. It just passes through your system, and worse, it can dilute the precious electrolytes that are trying to protect your heart while sleeping. You see, learning how to protect your heart while sleeping is not about drinking more water. It's about drinking the right water. But what if I told you that the solution to this 2 a.m. terror lies right inside your kitchen? That there are simple drinks, cheaper than any pill, that can act as a powerful shield, a loyal guardian for your heart for a full 8 hours. And believe me when I tell you, the number one drink I will reveal at the end of this video is not just a guardian. It is a healer. Science has shown it can wash away the silent inflammation in your arteries, while you are fast asleep. This journey to discover these secrets is one we do not take alone. So let's be honest with each other in the comments, is that feeling of your heart pounding at 2 a.m. familiar to you? Please share, so we know we are part of a community, all searching for peace of mind. Tonight, we begin to turn that fear into power. So, why? Why does this battle always take place in the darkness? Why does our heart, our faithful companion all day long, suddenly become so fragile and vulnerable while we sleep? The answer isn't a single cause. It is a coordinated attack by 3 hidden enemies. 3 enemies that use the stillness of the night to push your heart into a corner. And in the next few minutes, I will expose their identities. The first enemy, perhaps the one we least suspect, is called the thickened river. Imagine the blood in your body is a great river, carrying oxygen and life to every corner of your being. During the day, you constantly add water to this river. But when you sleep, for 6, 7, or 8 hours, you don't drink a single drop. Meanwhile, your body is still silently losing water through every breath, through your skin. The river begins to run low. Your blood, which should be fluid and smooth, gradually becomes thick and viscous, much like honey. And when the blood thickens, what must your heart, our body's pumping station, do? It must strain itself. It has to work much harder to push that thick, sludgy honey through your body. This is precisely why the risk of forming a blood clot, the very thing that causes a heart attack or stroke, skyrockets in the early morning hours. The glass of plain water you drink before bed is like a brief shower on dry earth, it runs off too quickly to truly soak in. Now, let's talk about the second enemy. This one is more subtle. I call it the dawn hormone storm. Inside our bodies, there is a hormone called cortisol, the hormone of alertness. Every day, around 2 to 3 a.m., the brain flips a switch, releasing cortisol to wake us up gradually. But in older adults, after years of carrying life's worries, this switch can sometimes become faulty. It doesn't turn on gently. It flips on suddenly, and far too powerfully. This creates a hormone storm inside your body. Your heart is suddenly jolted awake by a powerful shot of adrenaline. It begins to race. Your high blood pressure spikes. And that is the very reason you feel your heart pounding like a drum at 2 or 3 in the morning. It's not a nightmare you're having. It's a biological storm raging within you. But the assault doesn't stop there. The third enemy, the final and most cunning of all, is the missing conductors. Our heart is a grand symphony orchestra, and for it to perform in perfect harmony, it needs conductors. Two of the most important maestros are magnesium and potassium. Magnesium acts like a natural calming agent. It signals the heart, slow down, relax. Potassium acts as the rhythm keeper, ensuring that every beat is steady and strong. But over the years, and especially during the night, our body's supply of these conductors can run low. When that happens, your grand symphony suddenly descends into chaos. With no one to lead, the heart begins to skip beats, miss beats, or beat erratically. This is the condition known as arrhythmia at night, one of the silent causes that leads to the most unfortunate events. Now you understand. That feeling is not your imagination. That sensation of your heart pounding in the middle of the night, that feeling of unease. It is not just old age. It is a warning from your own body, signaling that these three enemies are on the attack. So I want to ask you a question, and be honest with yourself. Of the three enemies I've just described, the thickened river, the hormone storm, and the missing conductors, which one feels most familiar to you? If it's the feeling of a racing heart and anxiety from stress, please let me know in the comments by typing the number 1. If you often get leg cramps at night, a sign of mineral deficiency, please comment with the number 2. And if you feel both of these things, let me know by typing the number 3. There's no need for a long explanation. Just a single number is enough for me and this entire community to know what we are facing together. And do not worry. Because in a moment, we will begin to learn how to defeat all three. For decades, we have looked at our health at night in the wrong way. We thought that simply sleeping was enough. But now, a revolutionary new field of science is changing everything. It's called Chrononutrition, the study of nutrition in rhythm with time. This science doesn't ask what you eat. It asks what you eat, at the right time to optimize your body's functions. And its findings on sleep and senior heart health are truly astonishing. It shows us that your heart doesn't want to rebel. It is not your enemy. It is simply crying out for help. It's signaling that it lacks the right allies to fight off those three hidden enemies. So instead of panicking, let us listen. Instead of fighting blindly, let us give our bodies what they truly need. Let's look at the three enemies we've unmasked, but this time, through the lens of science. First, to combat the thickened river, researchers in esteemed publications like the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging have shown that the problem isn't just drinking more water, it's cellular hydration. Plain water goes in and comes out too fast. To hold water inside the cells and effectively thin the blood, the body requires electrolytes to act like tiny magnets, especially natural potassium and sodium. Second, to calm the hormone storm, studies in the field of endocrinology, published in journals such as Phytotherapy Research, have proven that certain plant-based compounds can regulate the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This is the body's stress command center. Instead of using medication, we can use these natural compounds to signal the adrenal glands to ease off cortisol production, bringing a true state of calm to the nervous system and helping to prevent high blood pressure spikes. And finally, to bring back the missing conductors, the American Heart Association has repeatedly emphasized the indispensable role of minerals. They call magnesium the foundational brick for a stable heartbeat. Without it, the heart is like a house with a shaky foundation, at risk of collapse at any moment. Arrhythmia at night is often a direct consequence of this deficiency. You see, these are not folk tales. This is science. Every solution I am about to share with you is built upon these three solid pillars. They have been purposefully chosen to deliver exactly what your body is missing during the night. The 5 drinks we are about to discover are not random recipes. They represent the wisdom of modern science, distilled into the simplest, safest therapies you can perform right in your own home. And I must repeat, the final guardian, the number 1 hero, is more than just a drink. It is a complete chrononutrition therapy, capable of addressing all 3 enemies at once. So, do you want to turn this scientific knowledge into concrete action to protect yourself? Do you want to take hold of this wisdom to reclaim peace for your sleep? I invite you to join me in a symbolic act. Please, write a single word in the comments below. That word is, hope. Because that is what this science gives us. Not fear, but hope. Not helplessness, but control. Leave that word, hope, as a declaration that you are ready to receive this precious gift. And now, let us begin to open these gifts, one by one. You have patiently walked with me through the darkness of fear. You have bravely faced the uncomfortable truths about your own body. And most importantly, you have lit the flame of hope in your heart. Now, it is time for the reward. Not just 1, but 5 rewards. 5 guardians, 5 faithful allies awaiting your command. We will meet each one, in order from the most familiar to the most powerful and comprehensive. I suggest you have a pen and paper ready, because this journey will take us deep into knowledge that could truly change the way you protect your heart forever. Guardian number 5, an old friend with a new power. I call it, the soother of storms. This is a cup of warm chamomile tea, with a thin slice of ginger. Many of us think of chamomile tea as a simple relaxant. But science sees much more. It is one of the most effective weapons against the hormone storm in the middle of the night. Inside these delicate flowers lies a flavonoid compound called apigenin. A study published in the prestigious Journal of Advanced Nursing conducted a trial on a group of postpartum women with severe sleep issues, a condition with hormonal disruptions similar to what older adults experience. The results showed that those who drank chamomile tea consistently had significantly improved sleep quality compared to the non-drinking group. Apigenin acts like a master key, fitting perfectly into the GABA receptors in your brain. Imagine GABA as your brain's braking system. When you're stressed, this system functions poorly. Apigenin helps to repair that braking system, calming the noise of anxious thoughts and slowing a racing heartbeat caused by stress. The thin slice of ginger isn't just for flavor. Both ancient medicine and modern science recognize that the compound gingerol in ginger has anti-inflammatory properties and gently promotes healthy blood circulation throughout the night. How to use it correctly? Steep 1 tea bag in hot water for about 5 to 7 minutes. Drink it while it's warm, about 60 minutes before bed. It is critical to avoid adding sugar or honey, as a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition indicates that a sudden spike in blood sugar at night can trigger an inflammatory response, defeating our purpose of heart attack prevention. Guardian number 4, the provider of inner stability. I call him the golden brick of steadiness. This is a glass of warm, unsweetened almond milk. This is the direct, powerful, and scientific answer to the enemy known as the missing conductors. Your heart beats thanks to a tiny bioelectrical current. Magnesium is the body's natural insulator, ensuring that this current stays on the right path. When you're deficient in magnesium, the current leaks, causing abnormal impulses. The American Heart Association has repeatedly published literature showing a direct link between magnesium deficiency and the risk of atrial fibrillation, a common form of arrhythmia at night. The Framingham Heart Study, one of the most respected and longest-running cardiovascular studies in the world, found that individuals with low blood levels of magnesium had a significantly higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Almond milk, especially organic varieties, is an excellent source of bioavailable magnesium, helping you to rebuild a solid foundation for your heart. How to use it correctly: about 150 milliliters, or 5 ounces, of unsweetened almond milk is sufficient. Warm it up, as the gentle heat helps the body absorb minerals more easily. Drink it about 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. You can add a small pinch of cinnamon. Cinnamon is not just for aroma. Research from Diabetes Care suggests it can also help improve insulin sensitivity, effectively aiding in blood sugar regulation. Guardian number 3, a skilled diplomat from nature. I call it the restorer of balanced flow. This is a glass of fresh coconut water, diluted 1:1 with warm water. This is the perfect nemesis for both the thickened river and the deficiency of another crucial conductor, potassium. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer. And the fight against it is a battle of ratios between sodium and potassium. The modern diet leads us to consume far too much sodium, from salt, and far too little potassium. According to a meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Hypertension, increasing potassium intake can effectively lower blood pressure in people with hypertension. Coconut water is one of the best natural sources of potassium. It acts as a natural diuretic, helping the body excrete excess sodium through urine, thereby reducing pressure on your blood vessel walls. Diluting it with warm water not only prevents an upset stomach but also helps the body absorb these electrolytes more slowly, achieving the cellular hydration I spoke of, which helps keep the blood fluid and flowing smoothly. How to use it correctly: this is extremely important. Dilute 1 part fresh coconut water with 1 part warm water. Drink only a small amount, about 120 to 150 milliliters, 4 to 5 ounces. And please note, while potassium is vital, if you have kidney problems or have been told by your doctor to limit potassium, please skip this option. This caution is the highest form of wisdom. Guardian number 2, an elite warrior in a gentle form. I call it the extinguisher of invisible flames. This is a small glass of unsweetened, pure tart cherry juice. Beyond the 3 enemies we've discussed, modern medicine has identified a 4th, low-grade chronic inflammation. It's like small fires smoldering day and night inside your blood vessels, making them stiff and vulnerable. Tart cherry juice is one of the richest sources of anthocyanins on the planet. This is the pigment that gives cherries their deep red color, and it is also an incredibly potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. A study published in the Journal of Food and Function had participants drink tart cherry juice for several weeks. The results showed that inflammatory markers in their blood, such as C-reactive protein, hsCRP, were significantly reduced. Drinking a small glass before bed is like sending an elite team of firefighters to patrol and extinguish those smoldering fires in your arteries. Furthermore, tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin, which helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle, giving your heart a period of deep and truly restorative rest. How to use it correctly: a very small glass, about 100 to 120 milliliters, 3 to 4 ounces, is enough. Always choose a pure, unsweetened version to avoid unnecessary calories and the risk of a blood sugar spike. And now, the final guardian. The hero we have all been waiting for. The one who doesn't just protect, but rebuilds. Guardian number 1. I call it the source of rebirth. This is a therapy that has existed for thousands of years, yet its value has only recently been reconfirmed by modern science. It is a cup of diluted, low-sodium bone broth, or a spoonful of unflavored gelatin in warm water. This is the ultimate weapon because it attacks all 4 enemies at once. It contains a large amount of glycine. A groundbreaking study by Japanese scientists, published in the journal Neuropsychopharmacology, discovered that just 3 grams of glycine before bed not only helped participants fall asleep faster but also improved the quality of their slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most restorative stage of sleep. More importantly, they woke up in the morning feeling more clear-headed and with a significant reduction in daytime fatigue. Glycine is also a powerful anti-inflammatory agent. At the same time, bone broth and gelatin provide collagen and proline, the very bricks your body uses to patch up and maintain the elasticity and flexibility of your blood vessel walls. This is the promise of repair I made at the beginning of this video. It delivers easily absorbable minerals to welcome back the missing conductors and provides deep hydration to defeat the thickened river. How to use it correctly: 1 teaspoon of unflavored, unsweetened gelatin, dissolved completely in about 120 milliliters, 4 ounces of warm water. Or a small cup of homemade, low-sodium bone broth. Drink it about 45 minutes before sleep. This isn't just a drink, it is a nightly ritual of healing and regeneration. 5 Guardians, 5 Paths to Peace of Mind. Each with its unique strength, proven by clear science. So now, I have a small question for you. Take a look at your kitchen, in your refrigerator, on your pantry shelf. Of the 5 guardians we have just met, do you already have any of them in your home? Please write the name of that guardian in the comments. It could be chamomile tea, almond milk, coconut water, tart cherry, or gelatin. This small action isn't just for interaction. It's for you to realize that the power to protect yourself is sometimes already within your reach. And in our next session, we will talk about a personal story. My own story, about the one night that changed everything. We have talked about science. We have talked about studies and numbers. Those things are essential, they are the solid framework for our understanding. But let me ask you this. Is there any knowledge, any number in a medical journal that can fully describe the chilling sensation when you lie alone in the dark, hand clutching your chest, wondering if you will see tomorrow's sunrise? I know there isn't. Because I have been there. Right at the very bottom of that abyss of fear. All the knowledge I have just shared with you did not come to me simply from textbooks. It was sought out, researched, and distilled through my pain and regret, after one night that I will never forget. A night that became the dividing line of my life, splitting it into 2 halves, before and after. It was a winter night several years ago. I still remember its sharp, biting cold that seeped through the window frames. I had gone to bed as usual, after watching the evening news. There were no warning signs. But then, at some time past 2 in the morning, I was awakened by a pain. It wasn't the sharp, stabbing pain that people often describe. It was a strange sensation, a heavy, dull pressure right in the center of my chest, as if an invisible boulder was being slowly lowered onto me. Then my left arm began to go numb, a disturbing tingling sensation that spread down to my fingertips. My breath became shallow and difficult, as if someone was squeezing my lungs. And then, it came. The heart pounding, panicked, desperate, as if it knew it was in danger and was trying to beat its final rhythms. I tried to sit up, tried to take a deep breath to calm myself, but it felt as though there wasn't enough air in the room. My wife was still sleeping soundly beside me, her face so peaceful. I looked at her, and a terror greater than the fear of death itself washed over me. I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of leaving her alone. I was afraid of becoming a painful memory that would haunt her for the rest of her life. I was afraid that I hadn't had enough time to tell her just how much I loved her, that my life with her was the greatest gift I had ever received. In that moment, I wasn't Harold, the history teacher. I wasn't a knowledge sharer. I was just Harry, a 70-year-old man, confronting the fragility of his existence. Everything else in my life became meaningless. The worries about money, the plans for our next trip. It all vanished. All that remained was a single, raw, primal desire, to take one more breath, to live one more day. Fortunately, that was not my last night. After being rushed to the hospital, the doctors told me I had experienced unstable angina, a final warning before a massive heart attack. They told me I was lucky. But as I lay in that hospital bed, watching the fluid drip slowly, methodically, I didn't feel lucky. I felt foolish. I had spent my entire life reading books, studying history, and learning about great battles. But I had never truly studied the most important battle of all, the one being waged inside my own body every single night. That night changed me forever. It didn't just leave a scar on my chest from the coronary intervention surgery. It carved an indelible scar on my mind. A reminder that senior heart health is not an abstract concept on the news. It is a clear, deeply personal reality, and it can strike when you are least prepared. From that day forward, my journey for answers began. I turned my living room into a medical library. I started with materials from the American Heart Association, AHA, and the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NHLBI. I read about chronobiology, the science of time, to understand why the incidence of heart attacks is highest in the morning. I dug deeper into research on PubMed and Google Scholar, the world's leading medical portals. I discovered the work of Dr. Stephen Shea at Oregon Health and Science University, who has dedicated his career to studying the link between circadian rhythms and cardiovascular events. I read about endothelial dysfunction, and how chronic, low-grade inflammation silently damages the inner lining of our blood vessels, a topic discussed at length in journals like Circulation Research. I learned about the role of the HPA axis in releasing cortisol from articles in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. I studied the potassium and magnesium ion channels in cardiac cells through literature from the Linus Pauling Institute. Every piece of knowledge I found was no longer a dry line of text. It was an answer to my pain. It was a ray of light in my night of fear. The 5 guardians I shared with you are the result of that journey. They are not just recipes. They are the pieces of peace and wisdom I gathered and assembled for myself, and now, I offer them to you. I don't tell you this story to frighten you or to seek sympathy. I tell you so that you know, I understand. I understand your fear to its very core. I understand your loneliness in the long night. And I understand your burning desire to live a full life, unburdened by the specter of illness. We all have a story. A reason why we want to be healthy. Maybe it's because you want to see your grandchild graduate. Maybe you want to take one more trip with your spouse. Or maybe it's simply to enjoy a quiet morning, pain-free, with a warm cup of tea by the window. What is your reason? What is your greatest, most sacred motivation to protect your heart? I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to share it in the comments below. It doesn't need to be a long story. Sometimes, a single word holds all the power. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's grandchildren. Or simply, peace. Share that keyword. So we can remind ourselves that we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for something much bigger, much more important than that. And now, after understanding the why, after feeling the pain and finding hope, let us move to the most crucial part, the how. How to apply all of this to our lives safely, intelligently, and most effectively. Knowledge is like a master key. It can unlock the door to a life of greater health and peace. But if you use it incorrectly, if you are hasty, or if you try to force the lock, you can damage both the lock and the precious key itself. The 5 guardians we have met are all powerful. But power must always be paired with responsibility and wisdom. Consumed the wrong way, at the wrong time, or in the wrong amount, a healing drink can easily become a burden, causing you to wake up to use the bathroom more often, or failing to deliver its full benefits. Therefore, before you begin your journey with any of these guardians, I want you to commit these 6 golden rules to memory. These are not side notes. This is the user manual, the art of safety that will determine 90% of your success with this method. Golden rule number 1, the golden dosage, less is more. Forget about large glasses. In this nightly battle, we do not need a flood, we need a precisely measured dose. The golden dosage for any of the 5 drinks is between 120 to 150 milliliters, or about 4 to 5 ounces. That is only about half of a standard drinking glass. Why this specific amount? It is not an arbitrary number. It is based on a biological principle of hormonal balance at night. The National Institute on Aging has shown that as we get older, our bodies produce less of an antidiuretic hormone called vasopressin at night. Ingesting a large volume of fluid will further suppress the already scarce amount of this hormone, sending a signal to the kidneys, release water immediately. The amount of 120 to 150 milliliters is small enough to avoid triggering this suppressive response massively, yet large enough to carry the necessary nutrients into your body. Remember, our goal is nutrient delivery, not thirst quenching. Golden rule number 2, the golden timing: give your body a grace period. Never drink something and immediately get into bed. That is the most common mistake. Treat this drink as a transitional ritual, a bridge between the hustle of the day and the tranquility of the night. The golden time to drink is 60 to 90 minutes before you plan to be asleep. This window is critically important. It gives your body enough time to digest and begin absorbing the nutrients. It allows the calming compounds to start taking effect on your nervous system. And most importantly, it gives your kidneys enough time to process the initial fluid load, so you can use the bathroom one final time before officially drifting off. This is a key strategy for the prevention of nighttime heart issues linked to sleep disruption. Golden rule number 3, the golden method: sip like you're savoring tea. How you drink is just as important as what you drink. Never gulp it all down at once. That action creates a sudden shock to the bladder and sends an alarm signal to the brain. Instead, take small, slow sips throughout 10 to 15 minutes. Savor it. Feel its warmth spread through your body. Drinking slowly is not just an act of appreciation. Biologically, it allows for some nutrients to be absorbed through the mucous membranes in your mouth and throat, and it helps the body receive the fluid gradually, avoiding a sudden diuretic response. A gentle rain soaks deep into the soil, while a flash flood just washes everything away. Golden rule number 4, the golden habit: retrain the silent sentry. Your bladder, much like a muscle, has a form of neurological memory. We must now reprogram that habit. This rule is based on the principles of conditioned reflex and neuroplasticity. The Sleep Foundation consistently emphasizes the importance of consistent bedtime routines, or sleep hygiene. The act of always using the bathroom one last time right before you lie down in bed, whether you feel the urge or not, reinforces a new neural pathway. It trains your brain to understand, this is the final signal. After this act, we will be at rest for a long period. Psychologically, it eliminates a potential source of anxiety, helping to lower cortisol levels before sleep and creating a sense of security. Golden rule number 5, the golden listening: your body is the greatest scientist. Each of us is a unique universe. A drink that may be a miracle for me might not have a strong effect on you, and vice versa. Do not rush to try everything at once. Be a scientist of your own body. Each week, test only one type of drink. For example, this week, try chamomile tea. Use it consistently for 3 to 4 nights and take note of how you feel in the morning. Did you sleep more deeply? Does your heart feel calmer? Did you wake up less? The following week, try almond milk. By doing this, you are having a true dialogue with your body to discover which guardian is truly your perfect match. This principle is known as bioindividuality, a cornerstone of functional medicine and personalized nutrition promoted by organizations like the Institute for Functional Medicine. And the final, most important golden rule. Rule number 6, the golden consultation: the wisdom of humility. I am someone who has walked this path before you, someone who has done the research to share with you. But I am not your doctor. This advice is meant to support and enhance your health, not to replace professional medical diagnosis. This is critical because of the risk of drug-nutrient interactions. For example, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, tart cherry juice can interact with anticoagulant medications. Coconut water, rich in potassium, can affect those taking potassium-sparing diuretics or ACE inhibitors for high blood pressure. Therefore, the wisest action you can take is to discuss these options with your doctor. See them as another ally on your team. You, me, and your doctor. We are a team. The combination of life experience, scientific knowledge, and professional medical supervision is the safest and most solid path forward. 6 rules. 6 steps on the path of safety and efficacy. They are the compass that will keep you from getting lost on your journey. After listening to these rules, will you commit to me, and more importantly, to yourself, that you will apply them with care and consciousness? Let me know by writing just 2 words in the comments below. I understand. Writing these 2 words, I understand, is not just an act of interaction. It is a promise. A promise that you will not just receive knowledge, but that you will apply it with wisdom. We have walked a long journey together. Let us pause for a moment and look back at our starting point. Do you remember how you felt at the beginning of this video? That feeling of anxiety, of a vague fear every time night fell. That feeling of helplessness against a heart pounding for no clear reason. What about now? How do you feel? You no longer fear the darkness, because you are now armed with the light of knowledge. You understand the hidden enemies that were attacking your body. You have met the 5 faithful guardians, proven by science, ready to protect you. And you now hold the 6 golden rules to wield that power safely. This is where the loop closes. The glass of plain water on your nightstand is no longer an innocent companion. You now know that it cannot give your heart what it truly needs. The drink you have before bed, from this night forward, is no longer a mindless habit. It has become a strategic decision. An act of self-care and self-love at the highest level. You are no longer a victim of the night. You have become the architect of your peace. The journey I took, the pain I endured, all of it becomes meaningful when I can share it with you. But from this moment on, the journey is no longer mine alone. It is yours. Because senior heart health is not a destination, it is a path. Every day, we take another step on that path. Every small choice, every wise decision, is another brick laid, making that path more solid. You can sleep a deep 6, 7, or 8 hours each night without worrying about a nighttime heart attack. You can wake up in the morning, feeling a lightness in your chest, a clarity in your mind, and a heart that is beating a peaceful rhythm. You deserve that. Start tonight. With just one small change. A warm cup of chamomile tea. A glass of almond milk. Or a spoonful of gelatin. Choose your guardian, and begin your healing ritual. Listen to your body. Be patient. The difference will come, gently, but noticeably. And before we end, I have one final request. This journey is much easier when we have companions. If this video has brought you even a little bit of value, a little bit of hope, or a new piece of knowledge, I ask you for a favor. Please help me spread this message. Think of a friend, a family member, someone you know who might also be going through long nights of sleeplessness and worry, just like us. Please share this video with them. Because your small act of sharing today could bring a peaceful night's sleep to someone you love tomorrow. It is the most meaningful gift we can give one another. And to ensure you don't miss any of our videos on this journey of wellness, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell beside it. Every week, I will be here, exploring our bodies more deeply with you, walking together on the path to a healthier and more fulfilling life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for giving me the privilege of being your companion. I wish you a peaceful night and a tomorrow filled with vitality.